Hello, today we're going to be talking about project management and how you're able to manage hundreds of clients, even thousands if you're doing some low ticket service that's still a done for you component. And we work with agencies from all ranging $20K to $200,000 a month that are using kind of the same mindset I'm going to be showing you in the video. And I'm going to be basically breaking down the tools we use, what we recommend in terms of project management so that you can build an efficient system, right? So first of all, we got to talk about why this even matters. So first of all, if you're doing a done for you service, right, your information is probably gathered across different channels. So we're going to probably have Slack over here, then we're going to have email, then you're probably tracking deliverables and spreadsheets, like a bunch of stuff. That information is not in one place as soon as you sign a client. And that's going to cause troubles when you're trying to make decisions based on data in your service, etc. When you're trying to get results for clients at scale. It's not going to be like when you were servicing 5 to 10 clients or when you're servicing 2 to 5. That's a very different thing, and you can manage it all in your way. Than when you're managing 20, you start to actually build the team, right? So it's onboarding chaos, poor task delegation, no organization, or very poor organization. Maybe you implemented some project management tools, but they're not enforced correctly. No one uses it correctly, etc. Right? You're losing track of client deliverables. Clients don't see the updates automatically. So that's something that we are going to talk about as well, how we can implement automation. So stuff that happens automatically and is going to save money. Don't mind my fucking signs right here. It's going to save money and time. So yeah, pretty much if you don't have a backend data flow on where the data lives, etc., we're not going to be able to build all those kind of systems that are going to deliver these type of outcomes, right? So you're losing track of clients' deliverables, progress, communication history, etc. So one of the things, talking about communication, you can just watch a video where I break down like the Slack setup we built for these 6-figure agencies and service-based businesses, where it's pretty straightforward. You can watch that, but today we're going to be specifically talking about tracking deliverable, client progress for different types of services we work in. So before I go into the specifics, I just want to mention and kind of break down what is meant by having a centralized source of truth. By a centralized source of truth, especially in your fulfillment, we're not going to be talking about CRMs and stuff today. But a centralized source of truth basically starts when you sign a new client/customer, to when you deliver a service and the offboarding process is done whatsoever, or you make upsells, right? Basically they're delivering a service and then achieving the outcome service. And of course this is going to depend on a lot of agencies and the different type of service we are offering, but there's usually a lot that happens in between these sections that is not tracked, right? Just kind of like you already use a CRM already. This is going to be like a CRM for your fulfillment, which is pretty much what's needed to build an automated system that is able to leverage AI and automation workflows on top and all that sort of stuff. That's going to be basically going to allow you to not be uncompetable, right? Because really in this year, we're going to see a lot of agencies that are going to become commoditized. And if you don't have a system like this to be able to help you not become commoditized and actually scale, help you scale by offering more and value at 10x value, right? You're not going to be able to do that if you don't have systems like this in place to be able to help you, right? So yeah, this is the main thing, and this is what is meant by a single source of truth, just having like that backend. Now let's just go straight into it. Like usual platforms people build this on. So I think first we need to go over like the specific use case of it, right? So what I mean by the fulfillment management kind of infrastructure or database is going to be like the client master record, CMR, right? And this is going to be the single source of truth for everything related to the clients, right? If you have contact info, company name, contract link. If you're working more with individual people, then you only have the contacts, right? If you're working with companies and then you're working with specific individuals, you need to account for that sort of stuff. So you need to kind of have flexibility around how you build this stuff, right? Because it can be, it can end up getting pretty complex if you don't know the structure in the beginning. That's why I'm going to guide you through the process and how to build this stuff so that it's going to be scalable along the way with you, right? You definitely also need to account for project start/end dates, assign account managers, CS/CSM roles. So when we are doing the project management stuff, then we're going to have the proposal, invoice, payments, etc. We all want to have everything basically related to the clients. This is kind of the sales part of things and the communication. We want to have that in here as well. Okay. We're going to have deliverables tracker, which is basically going to have deliverable name, status, to do in progress, owner, related phase or workflow, links to Loom, Docs, Figma, etc. So this is more for agencies that are deliverable based. So if you're like a content agency, if you're like a lead gen agency, you're going to have different deliverables, like setting up the cold email infrastructure. That's going to be deliverable one. And then deliverable two is going to be reports, so stuff like this that you need to kind of track, right? That would be like just what I have on top of my mind. And this can vary a lot, like the time, the difference of this. Like, let's say we have the 3 different delivery categories. We're going to have, the reporting, initial setup, and then we're going to have the actual lead and results we get for the clients, right? So we need to account for these 3 databases and separately so that we can move data across and actually get results here and then move it over to the reporting seamlessly and then do the setup all over again once a new month comes along, right? So yeah, that's just a pretty nice breakdown of how it works. Then we're gonna have project timeline view, which is basically the project management functionality of it, right? Tasks, forecast, deliverable timelines, client expectations, detect scope creep early, basically. So we need to plan out everything before we actually start doing things. And having a good project management backend is going to allow us to start delegating tasks and linking SOPs, doing all that sort of stuff that wouldn't be possible if we had it all across, right? If we have it all in one place, it's just going to be much, much simpler. And this goes over kind of the stuff I mentioned here. Team assignments and roles, pretty straightforward. We're going to have different roles depending on the agency you run. If it's a design, it's going to be, it's just going to be a designer that's going to be in it. Copywriting agency is going to be a copywriter, project manager. This is more so like the CSM roles we have that are in contact with the clients, if that makes sense. It's different. A lot of different roles for different agencies. I'm just not going to cover everything. We can go into specific examples in a bit, but yeah, we're going to have all the active projects they need to deliver on, deliverables assigned in different kind of data for their specific role, right? Because that's the goal with this, be able to give out all of the data and manage everything on top so that all the people below can have access to the right data and have it all in one place and ensure usability so that we can do workflows on top and stuff like that. But I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So then we're going to have client communication log. This is pretty much optional because we're already tracking everything pretty much on Slack, email, and yeah, I always like to track the calls. So that's super important, having all the fulfillment related calls in there, so that we can leverage, different AI and stuff on top. So like results calls, stuff like that, that we need to store all in one place so that we can link it. And then the fulfillment people are going to be able to just go into those calls and see what happened. Especially in agencies that the calls are really needed, like for content agencies that you need to talk to them first to be able to write their content. It's pretty important. Then we can leverage those transcripts and use them when we are putting our stuff together for them, right? Our pieces of content, or we are designing a marketing plan for them, etc. This is really important. And as far as Slack and email, that can be separate, honestly. I'm just saying that to account for, like, let's say we are going to have a table for the clients. We need to have their Slack channel URL in there so that we can automatically take that. And once we're running automations for the delivery, we can deliver the updates and stuff via Slack and via email, kind of acting as a notification hub and not so much a direct update communication hub, because that's just going to be done automatically, if that makes sense. So let's just go into the usual platforms people build on, and then what we recommend and what we've seen like all of these people using, including our clients, which are, like I said, 6-figure agencies. So pretty much let's go in here and let's break it down. Okay, so these are the main ones that our clients end up starting to use, and then they kind of breaks down, but I'm going to break down the benefits of each, and then why some are better than others, right? So starting off, it really depends on your service. So if it's a lead gen service, you're more focused on the outcome and just delivering them the actual calls. But if it's more so a personal branding service or a development service, right, it's going to be different, because you need to show you the value in a different way, right? So for example, for lead gen services, what I see a lot of people doing is just delivering it all in white and go high level, because you can create sub accounts for your clients. Or if it's something like cold email, you can have a smart lead, right? And you can create different sub accounts for clients, kind of, right? So the software for the specific service, I'm not going to be talking about that. I'm going to be more so talking about the actual project management side of things, which is like managing who does what and how the client sees things, right? So that's what I'm going to be talking about right now. But definitely using something like Google Sheets is going to be, of course, a lowest side of things, because you don't get first of all, there's not any relational databases, which means that you'll be basically stuck with Google Sheets. It's not scalable at all for project management specifically. It's just not built for that, right? There's no robustness of it. There's a lot of stuff that Google Sheets is great for like creating tracking sheets and all that sort of stuff, but it's not good for project management, assigning tasks. I haven't seen an agency past $20,000 a month managing their service with Google Sheets. So definitely a good option for starters, but then it becomes something that it is a red flag pretty much. So then we have ClickUp and Airtable and Monday are pretty much project management tools. Airtable, not so much. Airtable, you kind of need to be very good at databases and stuff to actually build something that is going to be better than these other two. But when you build something great on Airtable, it's just going to be, since Airtable is for more robust services that include a lot of parts in them, we can have a lot of flexibility. But of course, if it's not built correctly, it's just going to be as shit as Google Sheets, right? So, for starters, like ClickUp is very good, and Monday, they're just built for project management, right? But what's wrong with it, or the cons of it, it's especially Monday, it's very simple and you can't build a lot of stuff on top of it. But pretty much the pros are going to be easy to use, easy to start with, both Monday and ClickUp. But yeah, they kind of remove the flexibility of building cool stuff on top of your project management stuff. If you want to build, I don't know, like a like a content workflow within your project management, you're not going to be able to really do that on Monday or on ClickUp as well as you would on Airtable pretty much integrate all of those tables together. So what do we recommend? What do we usually implement? We usually just build our very, very robust Airtable infrastructure, right? So this is going to account for different stuff, different tables, and we're able to link the different service kind of deliverables and separate it in a way that it's all going to the outcome we want to get to the client, right? I'm just talking a lot right now, so let me just go in and show you an example and how I kind of manage my own fulfillment within Airtable. I'm going to give you guys a template so you can really just copy and paste this. And yeah, you can implement it for yourself. But yeah, let's do that. Okay, so within Airtable, this is kind of the first step of planning a good database and stuff. Is just going to be building out something like this, where you kind of plan out all the fields you're going to need, kind of plan out some forms, and I'm going to attach some examples here, right, in terms of the forms, right, and how you can start mapping these out. But we're going to have different, and just so you know how it looks, I just duplicated this as a template and, deleted some tables, whatever. We're going to have first a team, which is going to be tracking every single team member that we work with. That's directly linked to the tasks they need to do, the time we spent with them. We can calculate the amount of money we spent with them, right? Then we're going to have a context table, which in my situation, I work with companies, right? I work with companies, and sometimes those companies, we have to reach out to them to different contexts, right? Because we do a full audit for their business, and we need to track what each of those contacts, in terms of time, like context specific metrics, how much time they're spending on a specific task. So we have, the biggest bottlenecks each contact identified, the improvement ideas they have, mood out of 10, process satisfaction out of 10. Then we're going to have the hours they log for a specific time period, so that we can track improvements in the next part, right? So that when we are done with the service, we can see the direct ROI the client got. We wouldn't be able to do this on any other platform unless we are using Airtable. Now we have phases, we have deliverables, we have tasks, we have calls, we have transactions, we have client snapshots, context metrics, project credentials. When working with clients, we got a lot of stuff that is pretty much send me the password and we'll do this for you, because it's still a done for you service, right? So we need to account for all that sort of stuff when we're doing the onboarding and accounting for that data flow. So as you can see, I have accounted for pretty much everything. All of my data is going to live within these tables, at least when I sign a client, right? When I sign a client, they go through this specific process, which I can go over in another video. But every single data point is going to live inside of these tables, which is really, really great. And it's going to allow us to build a bunch of cool shit on top of and if we don't have this backend structure, right, like I tell all my clients, like, this is one of the most important things we need to build before we actually start automating shit, right? And before we actually can save those astronomical amount of hours and make you 80% more efficient with your fulfillment, right? So yeah, this is something that you definitely need to spend on. You need to kind of see the relationships. Like right now, what we're doing is we have client projects. We're going to have that linked to a bunch of other stuff. So that's how we split it up by clients. And also what we're able to do here, which is really, really cool in Airtable, and we're building this on other platforms, but it's an interface. So you can give your clients a full-on interface, as you can see right here. And I just copy some of the pages so that you guys can see as an example. But you can build interfaces, which is great, because you now don't have to worry about updating clients, because they can see the real-time data, right? And we still like to have notifications automated from within this space automatically. But if we, for some reason, that wouldn't send out, they can just go here and track the deliverable stages, right? Color system for your infrastructure. We have a bunch of other pages, but I'm not going to share them because, that's just, this is just something that you can see as an example, right? You can kind of modify these because our service is very specific, right? So that's why you kind of need to be creative, or you can hire us and we build this entire stuff for you, right? We're going to have a core systems page where they kind of track every single deliverable, all the details, pictures, videos of each of the things we build. As you can see, different database we built, different communication infrastructure, interface, documentation, workflows, AI agents. So yeah, we also are going to track all the meetings we have with them, right? They're going to be able to check all the meetings we have together. Same thing for internal, right? We're going to have client deliverables, select the clients, all these, this view is per team member. So we have about 5 team members checking all of their, and this is some of the interface they get, right? This is a project deliverable view they get. So they get assigned to a project, and so they only need to see the details on that project. We don't want them accessing this table because it's going to include the transactions, right? We don't want to see, we don't want to have them seeing how much amount of money the client actually paid us, right? So that's why we designed these interfaces that is just narrows the work, actually works in the, modifies the data in the backend, and we can move with that data very, very smartly with the automated workflows, right? We build on top of, right? So with this page, we have a bunch of even more, I would say more than 30 automations that are hooked up to this, so that we are able to deliver to 5 clients at a time, 5 to 10 clients at a time, without breaking, right? And I think we could even service 20 to 30 with this system, right? This is just an example for ourselves, right? Even if it's very, very done for you, I can't think of a more done for you service than what we do for clients. And building an infrastructure like this has helped ourselves and my clients just scale 2 to 3 times delivery because of the ability it gives us to manage everything from top. Like for example, I'm going to have the client onboarding form right here. If I go to it, it's on fill out. Clients at the beginning, we're working together. They fill out all this form information. As soon as they fill it out, it's just going to go to our base. It's just going to go to, I think, the client snapshot section, right? It's going to add the monthly revenue initially because we don't want to have it as a static field, right? Because it constantly changes. We're going to have a client onboarding form, which is going to capture the initial information, initial data points, email, contact point, get rid of the Slack stuff, communication, so that we're able to have a super smooth onboarding process, and we're able to pre-generate everything we need to pre-generate before we even talk in the first call, right? And we wouldn't be able to do this without having all the data in one place. Of course we would, but it would just be like sticking, I would say, like putting a sticky note on top of a inefficient process, right? So that's just having and spending the initial time investment into putting somewhere where your service is going to live. It's just super great investment, right? One of the biggest ROI points you can do. So I think that covers all. We went over everything. You're going to have access to the template I just mentioned. So you're going to have access to this. You can explore the fields. All of the fields have different descriptions. You're going to be able to see all the table structure and how I kind of thought about it, right? And yeah, you pretty much are going to be able to start building out all of your database for your delivery. So that was pretty much it. That's all on my end. This is the first video I do in a while, so it might be pretty slow, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want all of this built for you, fully done for you and done with you, of course, because we're going to need a lot of input from you, just book a call down below. We'll go over your current systems, analyze them, see what kind of stuff we can build out. So worst case scenario, you'll leave that call with actionable steps you can implement to to be able to either take on two to three times the amount of clients you're handling without adding headcount, or, just automate 60 to 80% of your current delivery so that you're able to just scale and become a person that actually dominates your industry because you're leveraging the right systems and the cutting edge solutions that are actually delivering business value, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. If you're interested, book a call. If not, you can just keep consuming the content. I have an email list, so if you want to sign up to that shit, I'm going to be delivering templates like these and a lot more value. So that's pretty much it in my end. See you in the next video.